On blast.
Microphone check 1 2 1 2. I had to give a little shout out to Joe Budden because Joe Budden kind of had a big day today, from what I hear.
Definitely.
I've been busy running around, but I haven't been able to catch up. You know what I'm saying? But we are going live with episode 1 of a little thing we're going to call Wrap It Up, a Raptors post-game show. Game 1. 116-104. 116-104.
16-104, man.
The interesting
Should have been a 20 piece, maybe.
Should have been a 20 piece. It's funny you say that. I guess I'll introduce you first. Beals. I'm Sheldon Alexander. I guess I should introduce myself first. Wow.
No, you have to, man.
Do the formals. Get the formals out of the way, right? You know, I'm hype. I'm too hype because it's game 1 of the Raptors season,
you know?
and I'm too hype. I'm feeling it right now.
Last season didn't end on a good note, so you know we need the good vibrations off of game 1. You know,
something like that, right? Something like that. It's opening night of arguably the most highly anticipated season and opening night of Raptors history.
No doubt.
You could argue, right?
No doubt.
A lot of stuff happened in the offseason.
A lot.
Kawhi in, DeMar out.
Major moves.
Nick Nurse in, kinda, sorta, or maybe Nick Nurse slides over.
Slide over.
Casey out.
1 seat.
So much turnover, a crazy offseason of uncertainty. Is Kawhi healthy? Is he gonna play? Does he want to be here? All this stuff. But it led us to being here tonight. Opening night. And as a not so wise man from Brampton said, the Eastern Conference still goes through the Cavs. Well, the Raptors put it on the Cavs tonight. 116-104. Game 1. Gave them the business. And you mentioned it earlier.
I think a certain Brampton man got dunked on, did he?
Ooh, I think Kawhi caught him. Kawhi did catch him.
He caught him slipping under the rim.
He caught him. He caught him for sure. But I'm Sheldon Alexander, and I'm joined by my guy, Beals.
No
Beals,
doubt, man.
I know you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me.
Anytime, brother.
On the first of many Raptors post-game shows that we'll be doing here.
For sure.
But talk to people. Tell people a little bit about what you do, what you're working on, what's going on before we dive into the Raptors stuff. Give me a quick little,
Well, right now, working on a few things, but the main thing is, I'm a hip hop artist from Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Just finishing up my debut album, Trudeau. Just put out another project less than a month ago with, well-known Canadian producer William Satire. The project is called Cocaine Noir. So we're just pushing that. Just getting ready for Trudeau, helping you with the podcast.
Yeah.
Got a couple other things up the sleeve, but, we don't want to...
Time will tell. Time will tell.
We don't want to put that out there too early, So just stay tuned and, and see where things go.
I hear you.
No doubt.
So we'll get to the music stuff, and always, this is an open space for, my friends, my peoples, our community to come through and really promote all the other great things that we're working on outside of, the normal 9 to 5
I
stuff.
rap, you do podcasts, you just happen to be good friends, man. For
Exactly.
20 plus years, it works,
And what brings us together as well is our love for basketball in the city of Toronto.
Exactly.
So seeing this tonight, just first off, I'll start with just how crazy the offseason was, and how excited were you for this game tonight?
I was excited because I think this game establishes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
In the off season, shout out to Masai. He made some,
Major
personally, I liked it.
Yeah.
We said, me, you, Foots, and Q said in the last, in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We had the podcast that moves had to be made.
Mm-hmm.
DeMar's going, Kyle Lowry's going.
Yeah.
Or Casey's going.
Mm-hmm.
One of the 3 has to go, and 2 of the 3 went. You know what I'm saying? So here we are now. You know. So now it's out, and it's a new look Raptor team. Whether people want to deny it or not, it's a new look Raptor team. It's a different vibe on this team, right? Different attitude, different approach to the game.
Yeah.
So this is where we're getting. I think tonight they just had to get this victory. It was important,
Mm-hmm.
just to show the city that we're somewhat on the same page,
I think, too, the key part of what Masai Ujiri did in bringing in Kawhi Leonard, it was kind of like, I felt like after last season ended, and, everyone's kind of sitting around thinking, okay, well, and even DeMar alluded to this, right?
Right.
LeBron's gone. okay, so now we'll be okay.
Nah, the East is open. Like it's that easy. No,
But I think Masai tripled down on that, right? He's like,
did,
oh
he
yeah,
did.
LeBron's gone, but we're anteing up, right? Like we're reing up and let's go.
If he's gone, we're gonna take advantage of the opportunity.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I mean, Kawhi Leonard, there's so much talk about would he be healthy? Would he want to play? Is he going to buy in?
Right.
The preseason was cool because we got to see that, okay, he was at least taking steps
Exactly.
and showing that
He's
he was
taking
healthy.
care of himself, yes.
Tonight, though, first impressions of Kawhi Leonard, he went for 24 points, shot 9 of 22, not good, not great, but still had 13 rebounds, played his normal defense. What was your first impressions of Kawhi in regular season Kawhi in a Raptors uniform?
A lot of rust. I don't think he's played in a year and a half, I would say.
It's been a while.
Full contact,
Well, I mean,
real NBA game, you know. So I seen a lot of possessions. He was actually, calling for the ball, which means that he's trying to establish himself physically, get his legs underneath him.
Yeah.
But I basically just seen a lot of rust. That's it. And that just comes with playing a full regular 82-game season, which he hasn't played in almost a year. You know, 2 years, whatnot. So I think we'll see the real Kawhi after, I don't know, give or take 10 games. We'll see what he can really do. I think that's important.
Also, too, it'll take them time for all these guys to get used to playing with each other, right?
Exactly.
Like, Kyle's got to get used to. We saw it a couple times where I thought a real big thing was early on. Kawhi started, I think, like 0 for 3 from the floor.
Right.
And Kyle Lowry, like, the Raptors had a turnover. Lowry had a fast break, and he slowed up and fed Kawhi.
He slowed down the tempo.
Yeah.
That's what a good point guard's supposed to do.
But you know what I mean? He stopped and made sure that he got Kawhi that layup to get him going, and that was his first bucket.
Get his confidence going. Whether we like it or not, it's until we see what Kawhi can really do. Until then, it's Kyle Lowry's team.
Hey,
that's just
you said it.
That's just Kyle Lowry's team.
You said it. Kyle Lowry balled out tonight too, right? We got to give Kyle Lowry credit where credit's due. He stepped up, put up 27 points on 10 of 12 shooting, including 5 of 6 from 3. Super efficient. Still had his 8 assists because he's a point guard, but a great game from Kyle Lowry, and I think this will silence a lot of the worry that some people had about whether or not Kyle Lowry will play ball, let's say, right? Like, are we going to see sulky Kyle? Is he going to be mad that DeMar's gone?
Right.
But he balled out tonight.
I think naturally he's a ball player, so he's going to play regardless.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think in that preseason introduction where, they introduced Kawhi and Danny Green, and then they introduced, I think, Kyle Lowry after.
Yeah.
He meant every word he said.
Yeah.
I'm here to ball. Doesn't matter. I'm here to ball.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get to know Kawhi as the season goes on. That's
for sure.
That's the type of person he is, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people might take that as being a little bit stuck up and arrogant and whatnot, but that's just who he is, right? And I think a lot of ball players are like that. We don't really need to mesh during the off season. It would help. But the regular season is where it counts.
For sure.
And we'll take our time to gel like that, right? So, like I said, he's a ball player, so he's going to play regardless. It doesn't really matter, right? So, like I said, give them 10 games and we'll see where they're at.
The other thing to me with Kyle Lowry, I feel like, there's so much worry, there's so much panic on how is he going to react for the whole season. But I think it's more so like he knows this team can make the NBA Finals.
100%.
And he wants to be a part of that.
Yeah.
As you said, he's a competitor. He's a ball player. Like he wants to participate in that.
Exactly.
If the Raptors were a team where they were kind of, hovering around the 8th seed or maybe like, maybe a 7 or 6 or
might
whatever.
As well tank it then, if that's the case.
No, but I'm saying like maybe in that instance, Kyle Lowry would, be more sulky or be more like selfish or whatever all the negative attributes that people are trying to place on Kyle Lowry now.
That's just in general, your attitude goes to where your position is at.
For sure.
Right?
But if you see that this squad is balling like it is, you're not going to want to mess that up, and you want to be a part of it.
He wants to win. He wants to win.
Above all, right?
He wants to win. Any real ball player, no matter where you put them at,
yeah.
Maybe except Steve Francis.
Stevie franchise.
They're gonna want to win. They're gonna want to play ball, right? So it is what it is. Like you said, it's a business.
It is a business.
It's a business, right? And sometimes you got to take your emotions out the business, right? So that's where he's at, I think.
So as mentioned, Kyle Lowry off to a great start. The other interesting part of tonight's game was the starting lineup. A lot of people were wondering what
Right.
the starting lineup would be
Right.
on opening night, and it turned out to be JV, Pascal Siakam, Kawhi Leonard, Lowry, and Danny Green. So first off, I think people were kind of thrown off by that. Maybe is OG going to start? Is he not going to start? What are you going to do with Serge?
Right.
But I think the key here was Nick Nurse made a point of saying their starting lineup's going to be fluid. It's going to be changing a lot depending on the matchup. What do you think of that strategy going forward in terms of him adjusting
I think
depending on who they're playing?
I think it's a good idea because you've got three bigs, right? And Greg Monroe's coming off the bench, of course. I mean three centers basically, right?
Yeah.
So, Serge, he's in and out. JV's developing the three and whatnot. So you're gonna go with what player fits your rotation best.
Yeah.
Right. So tonight the rotation was for JV to go. Right. And you have Pascal. Pascal's deserving. He should be starting all year if you really want to look at it.
Yeah.
He's gonna be starting all year.
Is he one of the guys you expect to see a lot from in this season coming up, Pascal?
Yeah.
Taking that next step.
Yeah. He's, from what it looks like, he's developed a lot.
He's ready.
Confidence. Him and OG, I think for him and OG, the skills always been there for them. Even last year, because they were two of our best players in the playoffs last year.
Sure.
So for them, it's just confidence.
Yeah.
Right? So now they have a coach, but, maybe Dwayne gave them the confidence. We don't know that, right?
Yeah.
But from what I'm seeing now, they have a coach, and most importantly, they have a system where they have more confidence to be more free, to be more them, right?
Definitely. And we were talking about this during the game, right? About the whole thing from last year. For people, if you remember that Nick Nurse did a lot of work with the bench guys last year, right?
Right, exactly.
And so the whole offseason heading into last year was Nick Nurse working out with the bench mob. And if you think back to how much the bench mob exploded on the scene last year, and that was had a lot to do with Nick Nurse's offense.
Exactly.
And just the way that he made them practice and made them turn down shooting long twos, ball movement, layups or threes, right? And you're playing games where corner threes, I think were worth like 4 points. And long twos were worth like negative points.
Right.
All of these things, and you're just seeing the progression. Like, they had some great plays where you're seeing crazy ball movement and Pascal, no hesitation, shooting that three in the corner. If he's knocking that down with the consistency,
it's a problem. And even this game, we've seen OG in the corner, that corner three, right? So, from what I understand, the bench mob was out in LA. They were all training together. I think his name is Rico Hills or Hines or something like that.
Okay.
They were all training together in LA, right?
Okay.
So the
I do remember there was that video where it was like a run and like Russ was in the run and a bunch of guys were in that run. Yeah,
and all the Raptors bench mob was training this. So it's the chemistry is still there, right?
Yeah.
So we just add a few new pieces, and I think the bench mob has gotten better. There's more experience.
Yeah.
Danny Green probably won't start every game. It depends.
I think he will, though.
You think so?
I think he will. The interesting part, too, was to start off the game. You know how every team will have a player address the crowd.
Yeah.
I was kind of shocked that the Raptors chose Danny Green just because I was like, oh, he's a new guy.
He's a new face.
But I think he is... So far, we know Danny Green does a podcast, right? So that means he's like media savvy, media trained.
Right. He knows how to carry himself.
Exactly.
Well.
And so he was a guy that they decided to put up there to address the crowd ahead of the season opener. And I thought that was super interesting.
Right.
But also, I've always thought from the very beginning when the Raptors made this Kawhi Leonard trade that we were all sleeping on Danny Green, that acquisition.
I thought the same thing too.
Because not only are you getting a starter, right, but a guy that is perfectly suited for the type of offense you're trying to run.
Exactly.
And he plays defense.
Exactly.
And you're talking about someone with that Spurs championship pedigree.
How did we won that trade overall? We got two.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't understand how people don't think we didn't win that trade.
Well, the thing is,
we got love for DeMar, but DeMar DeRozan is not a complete two-way player.
And Pirtle's a piece, but Pirtle's not anything that you're
exactly.
like,
We got
oh
in
man,
return
what's going on with Jakob Pirtle?
Complete two-way players who like to play defense.
Yep.
And Kawhi's obviously going to give you numbers. And when called on, Danny Green's going to give you numbers.
Yeah.
You got veteran leadership from two guys who know what it takes to win a championship. How do people not think we didn't win that trade? That's what we wanted. When have the Raptors ever been this deep at the three position?
Yeah.
Never. Never.
Yeah.
right?
I also think too the thing that's interesting, and I think if you were watching this game tonight and seeing Kawhi Leonard, it was almost like an unfair representation of him because I feel,
Yeah.
especially early, and understandably so, the Raptors were really trying to
Right,
feed
right,
him and get him
right,
involved, and
right.
so you saw a lot of ISO Kawhi
Yeah.
plays where he's like backing a guy down,
Yeah.
which isn't really the Raptors' offense,
No.
and it's also not really Kawhi,
It's not his.
right? Like
Yeah.
within the flow of an
He's a,
offense,
but you see, that's something we don't know because he's only played in the system.
exactly.
He's only played in the system since he's been in the league.
So
right?
I want people to bring this up, and there's going to be a few people watching this. Toronto people will totally understand this, but you made a comparison while we were watching this game, and it blew me away.
It's a fact.
I know, no, like I can't get
That's
it
a
out of my
big
head now. But
fact, like-
we were talking while watching Kawhi get buckets. He had a good run. I think it was in the second quarter or third quarter where he went on a little run himself.
exactly.
And you compared his game to someone that Toronto basketball heads will be very familiar with.
Denham Brown.
Denham Brown's game. And if you go back and remove the, like think about what we're saying here. We're not comparing Denham Brown to Kawhi Leonard. We're saying the style of play in terms of
everything is just fundamentals.
Yes.
He's not flashy. It's 1,000% fundamentals.
and it's super efficient. The
Super
movements
efficient.
are super
Everything.
efficient.
Can you stop it? You
There's no
can't.
wasted dribbles.
There's no wasted dribble.
No
nothing.
wasted movements. It's just
Exactly.
quick one dribble to the basket. He's getting up.
Exactly.
He doesn't look like he's moving that fast, but
Exactly.
he's moving fast.
Exactly.
Right? Like the footwork, like everything is just there. When you said that to me, I was like, holy shit. Like it makes so much sense. And
Exactly.
a certain level of ball fan in Toronto will understand.
If you're a real, Toronto high school
Yeah,
basketball when Denham was at Bathurst,
Yeah.
When he was at West Hill, I played against him.
Yeah.
So I know. I never played against Kawhi, but I watched and I played against Denham.
Yeah.
And Denham was just a machine. That's simply what it was.
That was
He
the nickname, right?
he was a machine. All he knew was fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna get the extra dribble. He's gonna beat you off the dribble, maybe step back, and
Yeah.
that's it. If he's gonna take it to the basket, one dribble, maybe two.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a spin.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
that's it. That's what Kawhi does. That's Kawhi's game. Is very basic.
Yeah.
But can you stop it? That's just what
And
it
you
is.
can't.
And that's what Denham's game was.
The other thing too with Kawhi that's so amazing about his game, right? That I don't want to say gets overlooked because obviously he's a former defensive player of the year.
Right.
But when you're watching certain lineups that the Raptors were throwing out there,
Yeah.
and you have Siakam with Kawhi and
Yeah.
Danny Green and OG and even Kyle, because
Yeah,
we know
yeah.
Kyle when he's focused on
When
defense,
when he's
trying to cheat,
aggressive, he's unstoppable.
this Raptors team is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Right, and I think we saw towards the end of the game they kind of like ran out of gas
Yeah,
in terms of
it's-
it's first game.
First game, you want to get your legs back.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
They're still athletes. They're still humans at the end of the day.
For sure.
It's not going to be, a full 48 minutes just running up and down the court. You're going to get gassed, right?
Yeah.
So you're playing at a certain tempo, right? So
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And again, in talking about the bench, a key part of the bench is going to be Serge Ibaka. We assume that Serge is probably going to come off the bench a lot more this year.
Yeah.
And he came off the bench tonight for the first time since 2011.
wow.
That's a major adjustment for a person, I think, at any level of basketball. But now you're talking NBA guy.
Yeah.
That's your routine, especially an older guy in the league.
Yeah.
Like, that's your routine of how you
Yeah.
get ready. And you saw that before he even entered the game. He was doing a lot of stretching, making sure he was loose, because it's just a different mindset, but different, like, your body clock is different
Yeah.
too, and how you prepare and get ready to start a game.
I think.
How did Serge look to you?
I think Serge looked. Now, I'm gonna look at it two ways because I like Serge. I've always liked Serge Ibaka, even when he, and he started developing a mid range of three. I like that. I think that's a natural progression.
Yeah.
Because the NBA is changing. The NBA has changed, right?
Yeah.
So it's a shooters league at the end of the day, right? It's not really a big man's league, so to speak. So I liked it when he adjusted and added those
Yeah.
things to his game.
Yeah.
I think last year, he was one of Dwayne Casey's favorites, so to speak,
Yeah.
right? So I think, he had a lot of free range to do whatever he wanted to do last year. But I don't think that's the case this year. I think, one, he looked a little lost. That's just me. He looked lost out there. He looked lost. He didn't really know when he was on the court offensively, he didn't really know what his position was, right? Because whenever they would do, whenever they set the screen low, he would pop up to top of the key, look for the three. And, you know, that was his game last year. But I don't think they're really depending on him to do that this year.
Yeah.
Right? And he looks out of shape. I've seen Serge Ibaka in real life. It's a big man right there.
He is.
So I'm watching him on TV. I've seen him in real life. He looks out of shape. That's just my honest opinion.
Yeah.
He looks out of shape, right? But that'll come with time. But all we need from him is just 3 blocks a game.
Yeah, some blocks, play defense.
That's it, man.
And
Run
you
the
mentioned
court.
a couple times, we watched a couple plays where you're looking and you said you got to dunk that.
Yeah.
And so it was just odd, and he missed a wide,
You know what?
open, easy dunk
He's probably a
during
veteran
this
on the
game.
team, but he's not that much. He's not old.
No,
He can
no,
still catch
And
one
dunk the
dribble,
ball,
you know.
yeah.
He can still do that. So we'll
Serge
see, man.
Serge started 0 for 7, and it was amazing because he started 0 for 7, and then his first basket he just stepped into a 3, and it was definitely one of
Yeah,
those
it's
like,
like,
no.
no.
Of course,
But
that
he's
goes.
telling himself, "I need this." You know, it's all confidence, man.
Definitely,
confidence.
definitely. The Raptors too. The bench is going to be a theme throughout the whole year. Obviously, right? They played 10
for
guys
sure.
in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, it's the first game of the year, so that obviously, is a thing that will continue to go for a certain level because
Exactly.
it's the first game of the season. Yeah. You want to get everyone a little bit of a burn, right? Get them in, get the rust off. Let's say, Nick Nurse. I feel like Nick Nurse has slid under the radar this entire offseason because all the focus has been on Kawhi and how the Raptors are going to react to that. And it's been on Kawhi and Masai, basically.
Right. Yeah.
But Nick Nurse is into his first head coaching gig. And he has a very tall task ahead of him, no? How do you think he did so far in this game? I know it's just one game.
Yeah,
it's against the Cavs.
It's one game. It's one game, and like I don't really know too much about Nick Nurse.
Yeah.
And I think most Toronto Raptor fans don't really know too much about Nick Nurse, right? He was a candidate, but we didn't actually think he was gonna get the job. Many people thought Jerry Stackhouse was gonna get the job. They thought the assistant coach from what's his name?
Oh, from the Spurs?
Not from the Spurs. From the Pelicans.
Oh, Monty? Was it Monty Williams?
Monty Williams.
Yeah,
and I think, and I think a couple other people, but I just think he flew under the radar in terms of he can get the job, right?
Yeah.
Now, from what I understand, a lot of the reasons why Casey got fired was because he left the system that Nurse implemented for the Raptors to be successful in the regular season and in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So basically, what you're getting now is just getting Nurse's full system.
Yeah.
That's basically what you're getting now. Because
And
that was a system offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing like when Casey was in Dallas, right? He was there for
was a
defensive
defensive
person,
guy, yeah.
but he also helped with the offense, right? So you're basically, it's just a rotation. So far so good. Like I said, he's got a lot on his plate.
For sure.
He's got a lot on his plate.
You're implementing a star player. You have to deal with the ups and downs of Kyle Lowry.
Exactly.
You got a lot of young players that you're also
They wanna
developing
play.
along the
Yep.
way. Plus, you got a bunch of guys who can play.
Exactly.
Like the Raptors last season taught us that the Raptors bench, and DeLon Wright didn't play tonight, right? But he's obviously another key piece to this bench.
Very key.
But last year we learned that the Raptors bench is better than a lot of teams' starters in the NBA. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I would say that half the teams in the league, the Raptors bench can play with them.
It sounds ridiculous on paper, but once they touch the court, it's a different story.
Exactly.
Actions speak louder than words, and those
For
guys
sure.
are balling, right?
For sure.
So you put when the Raptors bench mob was going against a lot of team starters, they were outplaying them.
Yeah.
They're outplaying them.
But also they're just like dominating those teams' benches.
Yes.
So now the Raptors starters, if they got out to a lead, the bench mob's coming in and extending that lead.
Exactly.
Or if the Raptors starters got off to a slow start, bench mob's getting them back in the game.
Exactly.
So it'll be interesting to see like how those pieces fit, because if you're already playing 10 guys in the first quarter and DeLon's not even one of those pieces.
DeLon's not even. I don't even think he's playing Friday. So
yeah, I don't know. And the other thing is there's no need to rush him back, right?
Exactly. And he brings a certain type of energy off the bench that the Raptors will need.
For sure.
Right? Him and Van Fleet together on the court, that's some good chemistry, right? So
Freddie, I know he shot 6 of 14 for 14 points, and that doesn't sound good,
Right.
but the way that Freddie came in and he was so assertive with the offense, and he was just getting straight to the basket whenever he wanted.
He has, I believe, he has what I said not too long ago. It's a different system now. It's a different system.
Yeah.
So I believe he now has the green light.
Yeah.
Right. Even when Kyle Lowry's on the floor, he has
sure.
the green light. I think when him and Kyle, because Kyle Lowry moves to the 2 when he's on the floor.
Yep.
But I also think that because he's the point guard,
Mm-hmm.
he has the option that he didn't have last year. Well, I can find a look for myself too.
Yeah,
I don't think he had that last year with Dwayne Casey.
For sure.
I don't think he had that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think only Kyle Lowry had that option.
Yeah.
Which is what it is. That's how it's
Yeah.
supposed to be to a certain extent.
And
right?
and we got a glimpse of that in the playoffs too. If you remember, it was Stephen A. Smith that reported during the playoffs when
Yeah.
Fred got hurt.
Yeah.
Right, Stephen A. Smith was saying how he was in the locker room and Kyle Lowry was pointing at Fred
Yeah.
when the Raptors were struggling,
Exactly.
saying how he's hurt, we need him.
Yeah.
So Kyle understands that Fred's coming and Fred is a key cog to what the Raptors are trying to do.
Exactly.
But I also think that Fred VanVleet, it just keeps it going. It keeps everyone on their toes, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the beauty of the depth of the regular season, because I feel like once you make the move for Kawhi Leonard, your thoughts are obviously about making noise in the playoffs, right?
Right, exactly.
So that means you just got to get there.
Yeah.
And that's where your depth comes in handy. Because, hey, if Kyle needs a rest, no problem. We'll be okay.
But that's why you have. I think they have 4 point guards.
Yeah. Because
That's what
what's his
you
name?
have.
Lorenzo Brown's there too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's super interesting. Great start for the Toronto Raptors.
amazing start, man. Good job, Raptors. But at the same time, when
It's
you
the
guys, it's the Cavs. It's the first game, and let's not get it twisted. We're gonna hold everyone accountable. So if Kawhi is having consecutively 4 bad games,
Yeah.
we're gonna tell you, yo, he's playing like trash.
Yeah.
He's step
Yeah,
it up.
yeah, yeah.
That's just what it is.
Yeah.
you know.
The thing too is, what did you make of the Cavs? And I know that the Cavs are going to be an interesting team this year because who knows? They could be battling for 8th. They could be straight lottery bound.
Yeah.
But this was our first glimpse of the Cavs post LeBron era. Did someone stand out to you the most, or just what was your take of what the Cavs could be this season?
On the Cavs, 2 players stuck out. Cedi Osman, I believe, is the real deal.
I tweeted during the game. LeBron gave him the juice.
That boy is hooping.
Who was it in that picture in the offseason? Them all working out. It was like LeBron, Kawhi,
Cedi Osman, he was working on what
KD, and Chetty. Yeah,
Chetty was there. He can hoop.
Yeah.
LeBron said he can hoop.
Yeah.
The rookie kid is a lot better.
Sexton.
Yeah, he's a lot better offensively. Offensively than he thought he was. I thought he was. Cavs, listen, man. LeBron James is not there. He is not on the court.
Kevin Love?
Meaning that you're gonna get the worst calls because LeBron is not there to sway. They're not gonna, they're not gonna give you those makeup calls.
Yeah.
We've seen it in the game. 2 bad calls on Kevin Love.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is, right?
The days of them getting calls is over for sure.
And Tristan Thompson, man, we love you, but just hoop, man. Just stop talking.
Yeah, Tristan
Just
had 3
hoop, man.
points, 13 rebounds. I mean, that's what you want from Tristan.
That's what you do. Then do that, man.
Yeah.
But don't say you guys are the team to beat. Don't-
Because you don't really believe that.
my guy, that's,
Like when he said it, it was funny because it's
Come
like,
on,
okay,
man.
I get what he's trying to say,
Exactly,
but now the games really happen, and
now you got to really show you're worth that 80 million. Now you really got to average the double-double that you did 2-3 years ago when they won the chip.
Yeah.
Now you got to prove that.
Yo, Chetty with 17 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists for the Cavs.
Chetty-
He looked super confident.
Chetty looking like a young Tony Kukoc out there.
Yo, I bet if we went to
nice.
LeBron's Insta or Twitter, if the the Lakers played tonight, don't they?
I think so,
I
yeah.
think the Lakers played tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
But if that wasn't the case and LeBron was at home, oh no, the Lakers don't play tonight.
When did they play?
I'm not sure. It must be tomorrow night.
must
Must
be,
be TNT
yeah.
Thursday
Oh,
night. But LeBron was always rooting for Chetty. So
course, of course.
this would be kind of cool to see his reaction to the game that he had, because I was just amazed by how confident he was, right? Like he was getting the ball, getting a rebound, going coast to coast.
Yeah.
He was getting buckets. Like he was super confident. The thing that was weird to me to see though was Kevin Love. So they re-upped Kevin Love, right?
Yeah.
Kevin Love, obviously, now that LeBron's gone, he's the lone All-Star who
Yeah.
I guess he'll make the All-Star game still
He
because it's the
probably will.
East,
He probably
right?
will make it.
I don't know. But watching Kevin Love, because he's going to have to revert back to
Minnesota love.
Minnesota Kevin Love.
He's got to go back to. He's got to create his own plays.
But now he looks older, and you see like the salt and
He's
pepper
not
in
even
his
that
hair.
old.
I know he's not that
He's
old.
maybe like 31.
No,
like,
he's not that old.
like we're older than him. He looks old.
No, but I'm
Yo,
saying like
man.
you're looking at Kevin Love. Kevin Love's 30 years old. Oh my God,
Oh
Kevin
my
Love's only
God.
30. But you're looking at him, and you see the salt and pepper hair. And the old man game, like the
Yeah.
old man YMCA game,
Yeah,
where he's getting to the line. He shot 14 free throws. At one point, I think it was like into the fourth quarter, Kevin Love shot more free throws than the whole Raptors team.
Yeah.
But his old man game, watching that, I was just like, man, this is like counter to everything else that's going on in the NBA.
Exactly.
I don't know how this is going to work for the Cavs.
As much as we know, we joke and we clown on, Kevin Love. Kevin Love is a great basketball player.
He is a good player. Yes,
Like
definitely.
he is you can't deny that.
Yeah.
Right? He didn't average like 20 and 15 in Minnesota for
sure.
nothing.
You don't do that by accident.
Right? It's just that I think he came to a situation where he didn't have to average 20 and 15. He didn't have to. He just had to come and play his role.
Exactly.
Hit shots, make plays when we need you to. That's what it is with LeBron.
Yeah.
Wherever LeBron goes, that's what it's going to be. He's going
Yeah.
to be the catalyst. He's going to be the leader of the team.
Yeah.
Some way, somehow, you have to find your own position, and that's what Kevin Love did. So now LeBron's gone. He's an elder statesman. He's going to have to go back to that, whether he likes it or not. He's got to find his shot at least 5-6 times a game. He has to.
And it's the crazy part too of where the NBA is going in terms of these superstars, right?
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
you have these guys, and I'd put Jimmy Butler in this category as well, where
Butler.
it's like, where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so Kevin Love's going to be the man on the Cavs, but now your ceiling is like way lower.
Yeah,
Do you know
for
what I mean?
sure,
And so,
for sure.
but when we saw Kevin Love as the second best player, okay, well that's a championship team. Or the
Yeah,
third best player on the Cavs, that's a championship team.
For sure.
I mean, third best player and the first best player is LeBron.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we're seeing that now where there's levels to this where Jimmy Butler, and I mean, I don't even know what happened to them tonight. I know he started. But is Jimmy Butler, I kind of am looking at him in that Kevin Love elk where it's like, okay, if he's the best player on your team, you're not winning a championship.
Right.
But if he's your second best player, you're probably in the game,
You're in the game. What if something just hit my mind? What if Jimmy Butler went to the Cavs?
Yeah,
that,
I don't know. It's interesting.
It's
That's interesting.
Like what? But they would have to give up a lot of pieces for that to happen.
Yeah, and I think they're in this stage where they're trying to
rebuild.
rebuild on the fly, right? Like I'm pretty sure they re-upped Larry Nance. I think they re-upped
He didn't
Larry
play
Nance.
tonight, I don't
no,
think.
I think he's hurt.
Wow.
Larry Nance did not play tonight. No, but I think they're in a weird spot with the Cavs, right? Because I think they're trying to like not completely bottom out, and that's why you saw them keep Kevin Love,
Right, and they're in
to
the
try to,
East, so they know there's a good chance of them. They can get rid of a couple players and still potentially make the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. If you can
Right?
still make the playoffs and you're the Cavs a year after LeBron's gone, you're gonna take that,
Exactly.
right? Just hope that you don't run into the Raptors too much because the
know,
Raptors are a problem.
Sorry, man. Like, the TV's on and I'm watching Mike Tyson smoke weed. It's hilarious.
Yes, all the networks are doing these
Yeah,
weed stories
yeah,
this
yeah,
week as
yeah,
it became legal in Canada.
Exactly.
And so it became a
Congratulations
story.
to all the
I was,
marijuana enthusiasts.
you know what's crazy about this to me? Like I don't really understand is people who smoke weed, right? And you
Right.
smoke weed regularly already.
Yeah.
How does this change your life?
It's
Like it
not
just
gonna change anything.
That's what I'm
for
saying.
you.
Like it threw me
should-
off
if
when
you,
I was
if
seeing
you
all
smoke
this stuff.
weed regularly, it shouldn't really.
But you
change
know what I'm
anything
saying?
for
Like,
you. Yeah.
like I'm seeing all this stuff online and on like social media posts, and all these people
yeah.
like, yeah, and I'm kind of
Smoke
like,
weed in front of the cops. Nah, don't do that. Not built for that.
I'm not advising you to do that
Not
at all.
advising you
No,
that.
no,
Do a
no,
lot
no.
of things, but not that. I think it's just, not to go so far off. With,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I just
yeah.
think it's something that, it's for health reasons, many people can use it.
For
you know
sure.
what I'm
Like
saying?
that was Matt Barnes was talking about it a
Yeah,
lot.
exactly,
He did an
exactly.
interview, I think in the summertime,
Yeah.
where he was talking about how like, well, first off, he said he smoked every day before a game.
Yeah, go to
right? He
you
said
would
this was
smoke,
routine.
go to sleep, and go to the game.
And wake
That's
up and
what
go to
he
the
said.
game, right? And he said it helped him like wind down and
Yeah,
relax,
yeah.
so that he could have the pregame
Exactly,
nap,
exactly.
and then ramp back up again for the game. But the
Exactly,
rest and being
exactly.
able to rest and recover and all
Yeah.
that, so it definitely makes sense. And
For sure.
excuse me, and I totally understand it from that angle in the sports world. It's just funny that like obviously it's major news everywhere,
major
and
news,
so it's
man.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, we got to figure out how does this relate to sports and blah blah. So I found that funny, but
You know,
let's not go too far away from our Toronto Raptors, because game one, we knew that the Cavs game it'd be interesting, right? Like we expected an easy win.
Everybody just has to find everyone's gonna find their spot on the court. Kyle and Kawhi have to see how they fit together. That's
sure.
I think people are, that's me personally. I think that's gonna be important.
Yeah.
That's the most important piece.
Yeah,
Right, and I think Kyle is, or that too. Kyle is the most important piece to that.
for sure.
'Cause I think Kawhi is just open, but I think Kyle Lowry has to be more open. He has to understand that. Listen, man, this isn't DeMar.
Yeah,
This isn't DeMar
for sure.
right? This isn't DeMar, and you have to make it's like inviting someone to your home.
Yeah.
You have to make that guest feel comfortable.
And we talked about it earlier too, right? Like there was a couple possessions there where you could see Kyle Lowry
Yeah.
finding Kawhi, like he's
Right.
seeking out Kawhi, knowing
Right,
that
right.
he wants to get him a bucket to get him
Exactly,
going, right? And that was
exactly.
cool to see. That was really interesting to see. And also, as these games go along,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll see it coming up with Boston, right? And the Raptors' next game is Friday against Boston,
Yeah,
right?
that's-
I find a lot of people already handing the East to Boston, but I feel like a lot of what we're talking about in terms of Kawhi and Kyle having to get used to each other, I don't hear that enough about the Boston Celtics, where I feel like there's a lot of guys that got to get used to each other in Boston as well.
Yeah,
and that's something they got to
exactly.
deal with that's not really being talked about. People are just being like, oh, well, they're getting Hayward and Kyrie back, and so everything's going to be great. And I'm like, wait a second.
Boston's funny. Here's my thing about Boston. And we're giving Jason Tatum his props,
Mm-hmm.
but Gordon Hayward is still an all-star.
For sure.
He's still one of the best small forwards in the league.
That he is, yep.
You have Gordon, you have Jason Tatum,
Mm-hmm.
and you have what's the other guy's name? Brown. I think his
Jaylen
name.
Brown.
Jaylen Brown, right?
Yep.
Now, at some point, you gotta get one. You gotta get rid of them.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
It's too many guys.
There's too many guys, right? And this is where I disagree with the Jason Tatum theory. I think we're putting too much on him,
Yeah.
right?
People are already trying to talk as if he's
he's a good player. The potential is sky high or whatever,
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with my superstar small forward that didn't get a chance to prove himself yet.
And that I'm paying a lot of guap
Exactly.
to. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Jason Tatum's still in a rookie contract. I'm gonna go where the money is. I paid this guy.
But it's also you don't fully know what he is yet, right? Like
Exactly.
you don't know how he's
You
going to
don't-
react to success. You don't know how he's going to react to failure.
Exactly. He played very well in the playoffs. He was
sure.
probably their best player.
Yeah.
We're not
Yeah.
denying that. We're not denying that.
For sure.
We're not. But you still have to give Gordon Hayward a chance, right?
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it, right?
Totally agree.
And one of the three is going to get pushed back. That's just
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
It's sports.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I just don't think that it's that easy for us to assume that all of these guys
Got to mesh.
exactly. And with the Raptors, it's a little different because I feel like the young guys aren't the best. Like nobody's saying that Fred is the best guy on the team or that he's better than Lowry.
Yeah.
Whereas I bet there's questions like Jaylen Brown probably thinks that he's better than Hayward.
100%.
Right? Tatum thinks that he's better than Hayward. So all those guys are going to start.
Jaylen Brown probably thinks he's the best player on the team, period.
How are you going to divide up all those minutes? Plus, you still have the two Marcuses coming off the bench and
Exactly.
Smart and
Rozier.
and plus Terry Rozier.
He's going to want out next year.
There's a
He's gonna want
lot
out.
of people wanting
Kyrie,
them.
and I don't hear the confident Kyrie. I love Kyrie Irving, but I don't hear that. Oh, I'm coming back.
Yeah, he says he's coming
Right.
back now. But I mean, the other thing I brought up at the last week's Ball on Blast podcast with Kyrie Irving is that Kyrie Irving has been injured more than he's been healthy.
Right.
And we always forget that.
Right.
And so while we're all handing the Eastern Conference to the Boston Celtics, I mean, yeah, they'll be okay if Kyrie goes down. We saw that last year
Yeah.
where Rozier stepped in and he was okay. But that's a huge blow to a team that, like, the Raptors are a problem. Like, the Raptors are a serious team. You need Kyrie Irving if you're going to beat the Raptors.
It's like what you just said. Rozier looked nice for 7 games.
Well, for 6 games. He
6 games.
shot them out of games at a
Exactly.
game 7. Yeah.
Right? So mentally, you have to be good for 6 games. right? Even though they said Kyrie was gone for the playoffs, which he was,
Yeah.
but you got to take it game by game. Now, this is a different story. You got 82 games.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think he's in a contract year too, Rozier, is he not? So
Yeah, I'm
so,
pretty
so
sure.
he's
I'm pretty sure
definitely
he is.
going to be balling this year.
Yeah.
He's definitely going to be balling. Like I said, I watched a little bit of the Boston game last night. Same thing with Kawhi. Kyrie. let
Yeah,
him play.
Kyrie didn't look. Yeah,
He
Kyrie
looked
looked
rusty.
rusty.
He looked
did look
rusty. That's all it is.
As I bring it up, he had 7 points on 2 of 14 shooting.
Yeah, but he's usually very efficient,
For sure.
right? So we'll see. Like I said, after 10 games, we'll see a little bit of who's who. Just before Christmas, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll see who's who in the East and in the West.
Well, I mean, Friday. I'm hyped for Friday's game.
That's a test.
Raptors
We get
Celtics.
test
That's a
right away.
big
And
boy
even Saturday,
matchup.
even with Saturday they play, we get a test.
Washington,
again.
yeah.
We go to DC.
Well, the next games, and then so the Raptors go Friday. They host Boston. Saturday they're in Washington, and then they play the Hornets. I think on Monday. Like those are all like legitimate games right off the bat.
Legitimate tests.
For sure.
All legitimate tests.
I'm fired up. I'm excited. And if you look at, Kawhi's stat line, I know that, again, the shooting percentage might not be where you want it to be, but we also know that this is rusty Kawhi. So if this is the beginning of what we're seeing.
Efficient. And he was aggressive, which is more.
Exactly.
When you're coming off,
Super
I think
aggressive.
if you're a player, I think the one thing you want to do is show that you're not timid.
For sure.
Right? So
sure.
you want to show that you're aggressive. So he came back into that and he showed that he was aggressive, right?
Totally.
Like I said, he was calling for the ball a lot.
Yeah.
He looked off Kyle Lowry a lot from what
Oh,
I've
yeah.
seen. So he wants the ball.
He was
in
going to
his-
the cup.
Exactly. He
Yeah,
wants to
yeah.
get those jinks, those kinks out of his legs, make sure the thigh is good. So that's what I see from him. So
Definitely. And I also think that, we got to give a lot of props to Siakam. Siakam
Yeah.
looks like he's ready to take that leap. Freddie's been hungry, so
OG
we know
looked
he's
good.
coming off the bench hungry. It was just a good look for the Raptors. Again, I think maybe the fact that the game, it was 116, 104, 12-point win, which I think that, that's probably closer to 20.
they're
if
up by
this is
20
the-
at one point.
Yeah, they're up by 20, and then, the Cavs hit a couple shots to make it
Right,
closer. So I think
exactly.
the score makes it seem closer than it actually was.
Right,
Do you know what I
right,
mean?
right,
Like, I don't think the Cavs are really in this game. I'm excited. I know I shouldn't be that excited because it's the Cavs, but just
Exactly.
to think about where we were when the trade was announced and like the
Stress.
uncertainty that people were bringing up and
man,
will
it
Kawhi
was-
play? Does he even want to show up? Will he sit out again? To now to the point where we're seeing him. And I got to give credit to Josh Lewenberg, who is a Raptors beat writer. He works for the 3-letter. But he put out a tweet earlier today, and this was just a reminder to me for all Raptors fans about where we're at right now, right? Because to me, I tweeted out before the game started, we're here where Kawhi Leonard is in a Toronto Raptors uniform in real life.
Exactly.
So let's just enjoy each and every
that.
second of the regular season and playoffs because this is amazing, right?
he could have easily said, "No, I don't want to go there."
And now put into perspective, here's Josh Lewenberg tweeted out the Raptors opening night starting small forwards. Okay. It's 2018, Kawhi Leonard, right? 2017, Norman Powell. 2016, Damari Carroll. 2015, Damari Carroll.
Trash.
2014, Terrence Ross.
Trash.
2013, Rudy Gay.
All right, Rudy, you get a pass.
2012, Landry Fields.
Trash.
2011, Rasul Butler, R.I.P.
Rest
Not
in
gonna,
peace.
yeah,
Sure.
not
Sue-
gonna,
Sue-
yeah, not
Sue was
gonna-
a sniper. Sue was a
Rasulio,
sniper.
not gonna say
Sue
anything
was a
bad about
sniper.
you,
You got a
Rasulio.
couple chips. so
R.I.P.
we
my
respect
dude.
you.
2010, Linus Kleza.
Trash. Who is that? Who is that? Who was the GM at the time? Who was the GM?
2009, Hito Turkoglu.
Trash. Trash. I don't care how good he came. I don't care how good he played that previous season to get that contract.
Yo,
you came here and you shitted up the gym, bro.
Yo, I will never forget, and I don't even think we did the podcast at the time, so I don't know if I've ever told this story on the podcast. I swear we could call up Foots and Snizzy right now, and they will confirm the story. We were at my house. at my house. I didn't live here. I lived at 66 Walpole at the time.
The
Shout out
Dub,
to Walpole.
the Dub, what
in
up?
the Dub. We're sitting in the Dub. Everyone's at my house. We're watching the Raptors in Milwaukee. Okay,
Wow.
they're in Milwaukee. It's a Wednesday night. The Raptors lose.
Which Milwaukee team is this?
I don't even remember. It's a bump. I don't remember who
Probably
been
wasn't
on
that good.
Milwaukee. 2009, 2010 Milwaukee. I don't remember who's on that team. Michael Redd, probably.
Oh man.
Maybe. I don't know. I can't remember.
If Michael Redd was their best player, then he weren't that good then.
Raptors lose the game. Okay? Raptors lose the game.
Yeah.
Again, it's in Milwaukee. We're watching the game on our couch, on my couch. We're like, okay, yo, we're going to go out. Let's go out.
Yeah.
It's a Wednesday night. We go downtown. We go to this bar. I'm not going to mention what it is because it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
This is a
yeah.
bar
Yeah,
on,
yeah,
I think it was, is it even still there anymore? I don't even think it's still there anymore. But it was a cool club, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
it was a nice spot.
Nice little joint.
Yeah,
for the
nice
night.
little spot. We walk in, order a round of drinks. We barely finish our first round of drinks. Who walks into the club? Hito Turkoglu
Wow.
solo smoking cigarettes. And I'm just like, yo.
Wow.
And this is at the height of like what the hell's going on with the Toronto
Hito,
Raptors.
see?
And I'm just like, yo, this man is, they just gave this man hella guap. You got off the flight from Milwaukee.
Stress.
You didn't drop your bags off yourself. You probably sent the ball boy with your
Exactly,
bags to
exactly.
drop your shit off.
Wow.
I doubt you even bathed your skin.
Nah, man,
you
you
came
didn't,
right
man.
to the club dolo to
Wow.
post up in the corner and smoke cigarettes. I was like, yo, Hito Turkoglu.
Wow. He probably don't even smoke cigarettes. You probably just stressed for the night. You guys took that L. Hito, you trash, man. You trash with what you
Hold
did,
on,
man.
not even done with this era of Raptors small forwards. Okay,
Oh,
so that
man.
was Hito
Let's run
Turkoglu in
through it.
2009. Okay, 2008, Jamario Moon.
Jamario, you trash.
Forgot
man.
about Jamario Moon.
You had the hops, but you was
He had the hops.
Your
He
overall
had
game.
mega hops.
Your overall game was suspect, man.
Jamario Moon, that's interesting though, because Jamario Moon, I bet you in this era would be like a stretch four.
Exactly. You averaging
They
like
tried
30. You averaging 30 in that one league though. That's what I heard.
What league?
In the Ice Cube League. What's the
Oh,
Ice
the big three?
He's
Jamario
at-
Moon's in the big
He's
three?
in the big three. I
didn't
remember
know
watching
that.
the finals,
He's
man.
getting buckets? Okay,
getting
shouts to
buckets.
Jamario Moon. 2007, Jason Capoto.
Oh,
2006,
trash.
Mo Pete.
All right, Mo, you get a pass.
2005, Joey Graham.
Trash.
2004, Jalen Rose. Shouts to
No,
Jalen
shouts to
Rose.
Jalen. That's the Fab Five
I'm
right
not
there.
mad at Jalen Rose.
We're not mad at you, Jalen.
In 2003, Michael Curry.
Michael Curry. Who is Michael Curry?
Yo, Michael Curry was like a vet among vets. Like they brought him in, and he was just like the old man on the
Yo,
spot.
if I gotta think about your name, you trash.
So the point of bringing this all up,
Exactly.
Raptors fans,
Look
is
how
to-
far we've come, guys.
Exactly. 2003, Michael Curry to 2018, Kawhi
You got
Leonard.
the second best two-way player in the league.
Hey,
When he's healthy, he's top 5 player in the league.
right?
We need to absorb this and just hope for a good season. Hope that he stays healthy. And let's just play for the season. Let's not think about in June right now. Let's just play for the season. We don't know what he's gonna do. Let's just think about for the season. Let's get to the season first. Because we're gonna be back here in June, hopefully.
Hey,
You
let's
know?
go. As I said, the reason for bringing that all up is just remember where we came from, Raptors fans. Remember where we came from. Kawhi Leonard
Exactly.
is a Toronto Raptor. The Toronto Raptors were winners on night one, 116 to 104 over the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Exactly.
They play a big time matchup Friday night against the Boston Celtics.
sir.
Beals, I'd like to thank you for joining me
No problem, man.
on the
It's always
first
love.
Wrap
It's
It Up.
always love. It's always love.
Obviously, you'll be back again throughout
Most
the season.
definitely, most definitely, man.
And just to
Most
let people
definitely.
know kind of how this is going to work, basically, we'll do the podcast right after each Raptor game, barring whatever schedule conflict, because work. I mean, we all have
No
regular
doubt. We
jobs.
gotta
and
eat out here.
Life comes up. But
Right.
the plan is to do the Raptors post game show after every game. It'll be on Periscope and on Twitter. We'll take your questions. We'll do all that type of stuff, and then I'll take that. And that will be a podcast which you can find on our normal On Blast feed. So if you already listen to the Ball on Blast podcast, you know where you can get that. And you can go to iTunes and search On Blast podcast. You'll find all of these Raptors post-game shows. I'll put that up there. I'll put the video up on YouTube. Shout out to the people that have been watching the YouTube videos.
Yes,
Appreciate
yes.
all the love we've been getting there. Continue to like and subscribe to the YouTube videos. But again, if you want to listen to these podcasts, hey, maybe you don't have time after the game ends and you want to listen to it on your commute to work the next day.
Exactly.
It'll be up in podcast form wherever you get your podcasts. Again, just search On Blast Podcasts. These will be called Wrap It Up. And you can find that on iTunes. You can find that on SoundCloud. You can find that on Google Play, actually. And to show how just communal we are, literally 2 days ago, I posted the podcast in one of the Facebook groups. And I'm going to shout out the dude because I'm going to remember his name. I don't want to, I want to actually shout him out because I appreciate the love that he was showing to the podcast. So I'm going to look it up right now and find his name very quickly. I got to shout him out, right? I got to shout him out because I think it was pretty cool just how communal and how these things work. And obviously now that I'm trying to find it, I can't find it because, oh, here it is. My guy's name was Tom. So Tom messaged us, posted the podcast, and Tom said, any chance you could start putting these on Stitcher or Google Play? Love the content, but it's not easy for me to access.
Right.
And because of that, it made me look into, it was something I was already thinking about, Google Play.
Exactly.
And it made me then look into it. It was super easy to get it up on Google Play. Posted it up there for him, and he said, thanks for the follow-up, subscribe.
There it is.
So that's how communal this thing works, man. We're here for the people. We just want to create an opportunity where Raptors fans can watch and enjoy this team because this is the biggest season in Raptors franchise history. So hopefully you'll continue to enjoy it, to follow it with us. Beals, where can the people hit you up if they want to contact you, get your thoughts, follow, find out when the music's coming?
No doubt.
Where can people follow? Find you?
Twitter, Instagram, BillsBTMG. You can hit me up on my website at billsbtmg.com. You can follow my YouTube page at musicbtmg. New music coming soon, man. A lot of new music coming soon.
That's what I like to hear.
That's what it's about.
You gotta get me some of that so I can play it in and out of the pod for sure. We'll work that out.
It's there for you. It's there for you, man. Shout out Rich Neeks. Shout out my man Say Cool, aka William Satire. We got a lot of good things coming, man. Trudeau on the way soon, and a bigger announcement's coming in the next month or so.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. But I just want to thank you for having me on there, man. I appreciate it.
Come on, man.
Family,
Anytime.
It's love.
Anytime. This is the epitome of what we're trying to do here, where I'm literally bringing in my friends after every Raptor game just to talk about the game. It's as simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less. It's all love. Greatly appreciated. If you're trying to find me, to hit me up on Twitter, you can find me at Shell Alexander on Twitter. On Instagram at Sheldon Alexander. And again, YouTube page, it's just under Sheldon Alexander, but search On Blast Podcast, Ball on Blast Podcast, or now the Wrap It Up Podcast for the Raptors post-game show. We'll be back Friday night after the Raptors-Celtics game. And I know that this is a Meek Mill line, but it just hits me so much, and that's how I'm ending all these podcasts now, because it's just too real. Because real talk is, I used to pray for times like this to rhyme like this. I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Wrap It Up / Ball on Blast podcast.
No doubt.
As always, and everything we do on the On Blast site, unpolished and unapologetic. Until next time, see ya.
One.
On blast.